day. I got a controller. I got about 2 hours to kill. And a lot of Pokemon to kill as well in that very same time frame. So let's get started. Let's actually lower the volume of the music a little bit. I'll actually do that in VLC itself because it's a little bit loud for me as well. I think this should be about good. Where did we leave off last time? First and foremost, cursor on screen. Where did we leave off last time? That is the question. We have everybody about level 16 or so. I'm not going to go over the team because the team is going to randomize the moment I get into an actual battle. Everybody is around level 16 or so, and with that we're going to move on into some more battles. And apparently Professor Birch is a thing here. I have a playlist that should... It's a 9-hour playlist for music, so it should be a little bit more varied than last week. The alert box should be working in case we get any followers, which I don't think that worked last week. And of course we have a Beldum. Fucking Beldum. I guess it could be worse. It could be a lot better, admittedly, but it could be at least significantly worse as well. So is not a very big deal because I think we're doing decently well so far. So do remind me to not let my cup of tea get cold because I honestly just needed a little like caffeine boost before starting this stream because it's been a long day. It's not like a physically exhausting way, but I've just been doing a lot of editing work and I still didn't do everything that I actually had wanted to do. Luckily I had done some things last night that I was planning to do today, so I am roughly on schedule. I'm a little behind schedule, but I'll make up for that tomorrow. Tomorrow I can work all the way through the afternoon and the evening, if need be, to keep up with schedule. Because obviously tomorrow I will not be streaming. It'll be a little bit annoying because that would mean that I can't record anything tomorrow. And obviously I'm going to want to record at least Monday's video tomorrow on Sunday. But we'll see. I'm the proud owner of a shiftery, apparently. Nice. I'm probably going to be fine. Worst case scenario, I record something on Monday. It's probably just going to be a Kingdom Hearts 3 mod spotlight again, because that does seem to be working out decently well. I don't know still if the Waluigi part of it really made a big difference. Probably did. Gonna be honest with you. But I also want to make a video about some Keyblade and just character swaps. I'm probably going to stick with character swaps for the first couple of videos, just because I need some time to 100% a game again. And mostly that should be fairly easy because I'm playing... I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Because it's a damaging move, that's why. I need to replay the entire game, obviously. Kingdom Hearts 3, that is, if you're wondering. And I'm doing that on beginner mode with easy mode cheats, so everything dies in one hit. I have pretty much infinite MP, which doesn't matter because everything dies in one hit anyway. So I just mostly use Thunder, and everything around me dies. I don't know why I'm an idiot. Who am I? You're Latios, and you're going to help me not die. That is pathetic. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Well, at least a Wingull is dead. Next up is a Lombre, which we can... What is your moveset like? Probably stay in against a Lombre, I want to say. It's probably the best course of action. I was also thinking, obviously not for this stream, maybe not for this entire series, but I was thinking that maybe I need to have like the Twitch chat. Not that there's anybody in chat right now. Twitch chat open on the video because this is getting exported to YouTube as well. That's not great. Exported to YouTube as well in theory. And the people on YouTube obviously can't see Twitch chats. So double slap actually doing a lot of... Okay, double kick does more, admittedly, but still, double slap didn't do a bad deal of damage. And now we have quick attack on subpar. Dom can maybe like do a thing. Like, let's see what Fury swipes. No, it does nothing. Okay, you need to add speed. Probably should have done this from the... Yeah, it's bad. You just missed. And now I won't have a Latios to do this fight with. Fucking fantastic. It doesn't change yet. No, it does not. Let's see. Let's not lead with a level 18 Pokemon. Let's lead with a little bit of a lower level Pokemon, because I keep forgetting that whatever I lead with, it's going to like be randomized anyway. So I always want to lead with a lowest level Pokemon, probably. That makes a... that's not great, is it? Maybe Insanity? I have nothing to deal with Steel types, I don't think. I don't know. I wanted to check summary. Do you have like Leech or something? Of course you don't. Do you have anything useful? Like Dragon's Twist might be the best thing I have, honestly. Because, you have Psybeam. Let's go for Twister first and see what that does. And if that doesn't do a lot, we'll probably just end up... why does Steel type resist fucking everything? Like, Steel type... I think Steel type did actually get nerfed in, like, Gen 7? Question mark? Was it Gen 6 with the introduction of Fairy type where something's changed for Steel type as well? Other than, of course, the fact that Steel was super effective against Fairy. I think it lost some of its resistances in, like, either Gen 6, 7, maybe it was an 8, I don't know. I feel like it was Gen 7 where it lost, like, a resistance or two against... Something like Dragon shouldn't be resisted by Steel, right? That's not just me? That's actually a cutscene. Probably don't put cutscenes in your music playlist. It's generally just a decent piece of advice I'd like to give. So... I'm so glad that we didn't do this last week, by the way. The fight against May. Because we're already having trouble. I mean, it's only been like 7 minutes. So it could be a lot worse, I suppose. I'm just not going to fight anything until May. I also remember this route being much longer for some reason. I always say that when I'm on this route, I think. Yeah, that's not a great matchup, is it? Whismur? With Uproar, maybe? That actually does a decent amount of damage. I'm just going to confuse the hell out of you. I need Curlier to be alive for the Combusken, though. So, this is maybe not the best idea, but at least it's going to be neutral, right? Actually, this is super effective, so I definitely should just be using Smog. Which does the same amount of damage, because it's not stab and it's just generally a bad move. Rock Throw, no. Amber, no. You're just dead. More Ambus is... Wow! And then Quick Attack. I'm going to use another Quick Attack just to get some damage off on the Combusken. Then we're going to try to confuse you. Well, I wasn't trying to confuse you, I was using confusion on you, but you also got confused, so that's actually very helpful. Please hit yourself. You hit yourself and now you're dead. Okay, see, sometimes something is difficult and then you get re-randomized, and it becomes very, very easy. So now let's go beat Watson. We just need a single ground type, and we can sweep the entire gym probably. Not Magikarp is still not a Magikarp. We haven't seen a Magikarp reroll on this yet. Then again, I don't check my entire team every battle. So there's a real good chance that it has been a Magikarp and I just have not seen it yet. I do want to talk about a thing though. Because I ordered a pizza for dinner today. Because I had a coupon. Well, coupon. It's more like... I suppose it's a coupon. It doesn't matter. For a free pizza at Domino's, because if you order more than like 10 euros, you get like points, and if you have 60 points, you get a free pizza. Or at least like you get the value of a free pizza in discount. So if you make like any additions or stuff like that, you only pay for the additions, which is quite nice. So I got a pizza, and they have like something like with Korean food. It literally does not matter. They have something with like Korean food going on. I don't know if it's specifically this week or this month or whatever. It seems like a temporary thing, and I really hope that it's not. Because they had like beef teriyaki pizza, which just sounds awesome. I didn't get that. I probably should have, admittedly, because it sounds awesome. But they also have like, usually they have a standard barbecue sauce, which is a lot like, it's a very sweet sauce, which is fine. I usually end up taking that as like the pizza sauce I'm using instead of like tomato sauce, because I just like it better. It's a lot less like good for you, but then again, if I'm ordering pizza, I'm not doing it to be healthy. But right now they also have this Korean barbecue sauce, and I was like, let's just try that. That sounds real awesome, and it very much is. It is real cool. It tastes real good. It's a little bit like less sweet. Also tastes a little less like chemically sweet, if that makes any sense. And I really fucking enjoyed it. And certainly not a Magikarp. And I'm going to be very, very annoyed whenever they don't have that anymore. Because it's definitely just a this week or this month type of like special thing, right? It's not just something new they have. Korean barbecue sauce and teriyaki sauce. So yeah, that's both great and kind of annoying, because now I found something that I very much like, and also know that I'm not going to be able to get it again. You know what? Actually, a little bit of extra leveling probably can't hurt, because yeah, probably a very good idea, as a matter of fact. We need to murder you, is the thing. Wait, does? I'm trying to put it to sleep. That'd be why. It doesn't do anything. Okay, that is my bad. Not Magikarp. Still not a Magikarp. I suppose this will work. So that's been the pizza thing. I also wanted to test if I order Domino's without getting a milkshake, if like my stomach would be very upset at me. Because we talked about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think. Is when I order Domino's, I get a very bad stomach ache, and it's like just not a good time generally. And I realized when I get Domino's, I always get their thick shakes, so the variations on a milkshake, which I'm still half convinced that they're called thick shakes because they don't have milk in them. But the fact that I actually like have that reaction to it, it must have milk in it. And I ate pizza, and this is like no real big deal. I mean, it's still like not great for your body, and you can definitely tell. But I don't have the stomach ache cramping issue right now. So maybe it was not a great idea, by the way, to test that out on the day, like a matter of like an hour and a half before I had a stream scheduled. Now I think about it, that might have not been a great idea. My thinking, you know what, fuck it. My thinking was it's going to be like a high calorie meal, and it's going to be real good for the stream because I'm going to have plenty of energy. And that does seem to be true, because I'm actually quite energetic with a combination of like having that cup of tea to like wake me up a little bit extra, and I'm just generally feeling good, right? I just wish I had something to talk about because I really don't have that much to talk about, because it's been a busy week for me. It's been a very busy week for editing work. Also, what? Chat messages above was sent in the past hour. It just said new. And there's no actual message there. Is that just Streamlabs fucking up, or is that no? That's Twitch doing something weird. I don't know about that. So yeah, it's been a decently busy week for me, work related. It's just been like quite a bit of editing work, and I've been having a little bit of difficulty taking time off in an efficient manner. So what ends up happening is I don't take time off, and as a result of that, I end up like dragging a little bit during work hours. which then means that I don't finish all my shit in time. Or just before the deadline, which then means that I don't take time off, because if I had just either taken the time off early in the week or worked throughout the beginning of the week and taken time off late in the week, would have been fine. So that's been an issue I've been having a little bit, and it just wastes a lot of time, because at that point you're like not doing anything productive or like useful, and that's kind of the idea of taking time off, I know, but I'll get back to that in a moment. You're just procrastinating at that point. And the best way to procrastinate is by not doing something by doing something else, if that makes any sense, right? So if you have like three things to do and you really don't want to do that one specific thing, there's a real good chance that the other two things, at least for me, are going to get done faster than they would be without the thing that you're procrastinating about, right? So but I've had a very like monotone week as far as like different jobs and work related stuff goes, so that's a little I guess insanity. This is not a great matchup, by the way, for this gym, so I'm probably gonna lose. I was gonna circle back to something and I've already forgotten what. Greetings indeed, greetings indeed. How has your week been? I am just complaining about my lack of anything, really. So, long story short, it's been a busy week, and that is good in some regard. Yeah, obviously that's not going to do anything. I realize that now. That's good in some regards because that means that I've been busy, but it also means that I've been like not doing that much. I did do some things. I modeled a sword in Blender, which was kind of decent. Like, there's a lot of things that could be improved on it, obviously, but I'm kind of happy with it. And I also did some sculpting in Blender, not like with clay or anything, for the first time. I had used the sculpting tools once before, following a tutorial series. And at that point, you're just kind of like looking at what the person on screen does and just replicating it, and not really getting a feel for what the things that you're doing actually do. So I was just playing around a little bit, and I figured, you know what, okay, so I'm going to be sculpting something, I'm going to be practicing that. What is the most logical thing to start with to sculpt, right? And I figured, let's make a candle, because a candle is literally just a cylinder with like drippy bits. And I think it was a pretty decent idea to start with that, because it actually ended up with a somewhat usable result. That's the thing, right? I don't like practicing for the sake of practicing. It's just the way that I learn things. I need to learn things in like that could be a very good set. Okay, I have both a Wobbuffet and a Why Not. What are the fucking odds? Probably not that low, because we've got 6 spots on the team in its entirety. But that seems like a low shot. At least I can be fairly sure that you at all times will be using... Okay, let's go to the Why Not. Because we'll be doing the exact same fucking thing against you. Wait a second, you're using Howl. Are you going to be using... No, you only have special attacks because it's Gen 3, god damn it. Yeah, that makes it even easier. It's Gen 3, so there's literally no way. I probably should have used Destiny Bomb there. There's literally no way for them to hit me with a physical attack. Let's see. Disable didn't work. I'm still gonna die. I just need to do a little bit of grinding, is what it comes down to. Sonic Boom definitely is a worse option to be using. You probably shouldn't have disabled his other move. Anyway, how's you guys' week been? I've been complaining about my week, and I'm at a loss of words here because I don't have any physical or any damaging moves. That really fucking sucks. I guess we can bobble you. I'm just here waiting to lose. Okay, let's grind the entire team up to level 20 and then take this guy on again. Because there's no way, even if I get through this Magneton somehow, which is very, very unlikely. There we go. There's no way I would have gotten through the Manectric. So, let's see. Which Pokemon do we need to level up most? I'm going to this. Hold on, isn't that a double battle? I thought that was going to be a double battle. That's not ideal. I don't know if I talked about this last week or if I had even finished it last week by this point. I finished the What is a Game video that I've been working on. I literally just need to put in the member shout-out mentions at the end. And then the video is ready for export and uploading. So, I guess we go subpar here. Actually, no you don't, because that is just idiotic. And right now I'm working on a video about Mario Sunshine and 3D platformers. In general. So that's going to be an exciting video as well. I'm very hyped to be working on that. I don't have anything written down for that video yet. All I have is like a basic outline of points that I want to talk about, like in my mind. So I really need to put those down on paper sooner rather than later, because otherwise I'm going to forget, and that's not going to be a good time. Yeah, Wally, you can fuck off. Well, I have to play a Pathfinder campaign with Rule Slayer who wants to play a literal anime character. So yeah, my week has been interesting. That sounds like an intro. I thought that we were finally having the Magikarp, but it's not actually on not Magikarp. That is such a missed opportunity. That does sound like an interesting week. How do you play a literal anime character? I guess you just, like, scream a lot? That's what anime characters do, right? They scream a lot? I don't know. For as, like, much time as I spent on the internet and as much of, like, a geek as I am, I don't actually interface too much with, like, anime as a whole. Certain animes I do like watching, and anime-inspired things that I like watching, certainly. There's plenty of them. I don't tend to like be very much into anime culture, so I don't like even know that well what all the usual tropes within anime are. Is this like the third time Who Am I becomes a Machamp? It feels like this is about the third time. At least we have a Machamp within this stream so far. I don't know if it's Who Am I every single time. Statistically speaking, very, very unlikely. He's playing Zora. Oh, he's literally playing a character from an anime. I thought you meant like just as an archetype. He's playing an anime character. He's literally playing an anime. In your defense, like, I am just stupid. You said that. He's playing a literal anime character, and I took it as not literally. So that one is on me. I've got to be honest. That is totally on me. Also, let me have a sip of water because dry mouth is a thing. Okay, that was more than a sip, but I really needed it. Do you ever have that where you like you feel a little bit of dry mouth, so you take a sip of water, and the moment the water touches your lips or goes into your mouth, you're like, holy shit, I'm actually like insanely thirsty. If you have that, you're probably just very dehydrated and you should be drinking more water throughout the day. Which is just something that I, in general, should do. Because I oftentimes don't hydrate well enough throughout the day. I am aware of this. It doesn't mean that I fix it. Because knowing something is a problem and fixing that problem are two very different things indeed. Which I am, I think, pretty much living proof of. Because I can identify problems very easily. That's not that difficult. The difficult part is actually fixing problems. In a group of fun and quirky characters, he adds nothing to the table, playing a character he can't make his own. Yeah, I can see how that's an issue. Because you're really like, you're stuck to what the character is. And you might be like in a situation where that character doesn't even like fit in very well. And now you're being forced to fit in a character in a situation where like it doesn't feel natural at all. Alternatively, you could also like just play your entire campaign fit to that specific character so that it fits and everybody else plays around it. But that also just doesn't seem like a lot of fun for everybody else. So it seems like a highly bad situation, all things considered. What Pokemon am I even fighting? I wasn't paying attention. I'm just going to go into the thing with most muscle, and that's Ursaring. Like, honestly, I don't play like a lot of tabletop type RPGs, right? Because that's what this sounds like. I have never actually like played Pathfinder. I assume it's like a tabletop type RPG. Like, I don't want to say like Dungeons and Dragons because that's like very like stereotypical and topical. Like, oh, it's a nerd thing where you roleplay, so it must be like Dungeons and Dragons, where like there's probably like a huge amount of difference, and it's saying the same thing as, oh, you like turn-based RPGs, like Pokemon or Final Fantasy. Those are two very separate things. While they're technically the same genre, I'd be very annoyed if people compare one to the other. So I am trying to specifically not do that. But not knowing exactly what it is that you're playing makes it a bit more difficult for me to like not do that. It's a tabletop RPG in the same way as D&D. Okay, so you said it, so I can say it too. Fine, okay. Like the issue with that, right? I don't have a lot of experience with that. I would like to. I would like to. It sounds like a lot of fun because I am very much into character building and world building and like just it's just like a fun writing improv game where you're not just totally out in the blue because there is still some level of like rules going on. And some level of RNG as well, so you don't have everything under control. So I like the idea of it. I've just never really interfaced too much with it. I would very much like to. But the issue there is if you don't play your own character and you just pick a character from like a show or a book or a movie that you like, eventually you're going to just play your own character that might like be very similar to the character you pick, but it's not going to be that character. It's going to morph into your own character, but with that name. So you might as well just play like an actual unique character so that you don't like get stuck on certain things. You get in the right group, it's wicked. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really know. I have 2 Zapdos! Holy shit! That's amazing! I don't know if I know a lot of people that would be very interested in like doing something like that, like a campaign like that with me. I don't know anybody really that plays any tabletop RPGs to begin with, I don't think. So it's not like I could just join in a group of people that I know very easily, and it's just I maybe just have to like take that step at some point and just like go online and like, hey, you guys looking for a new player? Teach me. I might be very annoying and very unknowledgeable at first, but I'm willing to learn. Maybe I just have to do that, right? I don't know. It seems a little bit awkward and weird, especially if you just like crash into a group when nobody knows you. I guess that is how you do make new friends. It's just like crashing into people that you don't know, and eventually you will know them. That is kind of like the idea behind knowing someone or not. So maybe I'm just being a little bitch boy. Also, you're a poison type. I keep forgetting that. But yeah, there's that. I don't know what I was talking about anymore. More water. That's another real good way that you can tell that you're dehydrated, is if you've just drank water. and you need to drink again. Oh, but it does feel so good. Like, drinking water is honestly amazing, but drinking water when you're very thirsty is probably like one of the most satisfying things in the universe. Like, I honestly think, like, drinking water when you're very dehydrated gives the exact same satisfaction as going to pee when you've had to pee for like 3 hours. Like, the kind of pee where you're like, I'm gonna die if I don't go to the bathroom soon, and then you get to a bathroom. Like, that kind of feeling, like that satisfaction, it works on the other end as well. Like, in taking the water in, if you're very dehydrated, exact same amount of satisfaction. Fucking amazing. That being said, don't do either of them on purpose, because both of them are very, very unhealthy. Roll20 is where I found my initial group that led me to being in 6 or 7 games a week. Holy crap! Okay, that would be maybe a bit much for me. But I do honestly think as a like creative writing exercise as well, it would be very useful for me. And fun. It's not just about being productive, obviously, but it would also like accomplish that. So yeah, I am very very interested in that kind of stuff, but it's also that I don't really want to make any major commitments to anything. It is always an issue. Because if you make a commitment, you're going to have to stick to it, and I don't like to let people down once you like make that commitment. I want to like honor that, but I'm just bad at planning sometimes. I'm not bad at planning, I'm bad at following a plan. Then again, if I make a commitment, that forces my like other scheduling issues to maybe resolve themselves a little bit more, because I can't cancel plans with other people. Whereas my own plans I can cancel fairly easily or like move them around. So maybe having some like external pressure on my scheduling would actually benefit me in the long term. I don't know. That seems like a high risk move. I'm a bit metal and definitely have a problem. I know that feeling. I think most people that spend a lot of time on the internet have that issue, and I think that in varying degrees of severity. I think recognizing that you're a bit mental, going a little bit overboard in certain things. I mean, as long as you're having fun, and that's all that matters, right? If you're having fun and your like normal daily life doesn't get hurt over it, there's no big problem. Like, it can be a bit stressful, I suppose, keeping with that many games. But hey, you're doing it to have fun at the end of the day. So unless it becomes compulsive, obviously, at which point maybe like think about dropping something. But as long as you're just like doing a lot of things because they're very fun and you like doing them, and like fun and pressure or stress aren't mutually exclusive at all. Like, something can be stressful and fun at the same time. But I think, like, having that self-reflection of knowing that, yeah, this is a little mental, so, like, that can only be a good thing, right? Having... And now I have to celebrate! Holy crap, RNG is very interesting today. Very interesting. I'm also going to try to actually upload this one to YouTube today rather than tomorrow. Because I did realize if I'm pushing the VODs to YouTube on Sundays, that's going to interfere with my edited videos. Because those go up on Sundays, obviously. Up until the last session, it was a fun ride. I hope that it returns to being a fun ride then, because it really, like, it doesn't really seem like... a fair deal that somebody that inexperienced would just absolutely fuck over the fun factor of that. I mean, you're doing it to have fun, and I suppose that person also has a certain right to having fun and like learning how to play and just like getting better at it as well. So I'm not saying just like yeet him right away because he's not doing exactly as I should wish, but if he's taken away that much of the fun factor and it keeps being a consistent issue, it's definitely something to look at, right? Because that doesn't seem like a very good time. Fucking hate the poison. Also, the random encounters on this route are just not great for grinding against, are they? I'm going to try. I'm just going to give it a shot. I don't know. Honestly, what happened there wasn't me thinking I'm going to give it a try. What happened there was me just on autopilot running into the gym and figuring, you know what? Why not? Let's... Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this isn't going to go well, is it? No, it's not going to go well at all. This is going to go horribly wrong. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more grinding. €10 I'll do the win. I also had a moment of weakness almost this week, where my GPU is just being such a fucking issue. It's mostly a driver-related issue, I think. So, I probably, before doing anything drastic, I probably should just like look up if there's other people who have this driver-related issue, if it is a driver-related issue to begin with, and seeing if I can downgrade to a earlier driver. Because what I think is happening in my PC is that I'm using a 5-year-old GPU on a driver set that is mostly at this point, like it does work on this GPU and it is listed on the supported GPUs in the driver. But to me, it really feels like they're like, yeah, this GPU didn't sell that well as it is 5 years ago. So there's probably very few people actually using this thing at this point. And as a result, any instabilities we don't really care too much about. I really feel like that is what's happening here. And I can't even really like blame them for that because this is just the worst. Because that does make sense. So maybe I can just downgrade to an older driver and... Oh, no copyright. that bad. That bad. That's worse. That's definitely worse. And that fixes it because otherwise I get like 3 times a day where my screen just goes black for a moment and then I have to restart all my software because they just don't work anymore. Like Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, those kind of things, right? And that's just a bit annoying. And at this point, I was very close to just looking at, is it feasible for me to buy a 3060 or 3070 GPU at current prices right now? And then I looked at them and they were like $900 and $1,200 or euros respectively, and I was like, hell the fuck no, those things are supposed to be like $350 to $400. I'm not spending that money on it. Unless my graphics card literally just breaks and my PC doesn't turn on anymore, and I don't have another choice, yeah, of course I'll have to buy one. And if I'm going to buy one, I'm going to buy a decent one at least, right? But I'm not spending that money right now. So I'm just like kind of chugging along with a graphics card that might either just be unstable due to drivers or might just be slowly dying. And I'm really hoping it's the first one, because if it's the latter one, I'm going to have to like spend too much money on a graphics card replacement a couple of months down the line. At which point it'll be probably less of an issue, because obviously I'm going to be saving up for such an eventuality because I can see it coming. Doesn't make it a lot of fun to spend like 2 times the actual price of an item to buy it. Anyway, the session took 30 minutes past start to get going. Oh my god, that sounds like just a rough start as is. Due to not having a character sheet ready, and then the combat took even longer than normal due to his rules luring, so hopeful for not hopeful for the fun returning. Oh, that's just rough. That sucks. Like, somebody being unprepared is one thing. Also, it sounds like noise what you're hearing right now. It's technically music, apparently. Somebody being unprepared is one thing, right? You can kind of excuse it, especially if it's somebody's first time. Like, if somebody doesn't have a character sheet actually like 100% in order and they might not have been like knowing what to do and stuff like that, you can help them. It's better if people in like the group check in with that person beforehand. Like, did everything work out? Did you have any trouble? Do we need to like help you with anything? But at least like that character sheet thing is kind of forgivable. Like the rule lawyering with the combat system seems like just a dick move. Especially if you're new and you clearly like don't very well understand the actual rules because you didn't have your character sheet ready. So I'm assuming that has something to do with just not understanding. Maybe shut the fuck up when you're actually playing and don't try to like be a bitch about rulings which you probably don't really know anything about. Right? That is pretty much what's going on there, if I'm understanding correctly. Because that just does not seem like a... Hello, Moltres! To be fair, he had everything but his health sat up. That seems fucking... Fuck you. That doesn't seem too bad, then. Like, again, with that, I personally can like see a lot more like leniency towards accepting something like that, because if somebody doesn't quite know what they're doing or whatever, you might be able to like miss something or just not exactly know what to do with it. And obviously, it's better to ask for help before starting a play session rather than just showing up and in the moment having to fix it, because then everybody's going to be waiting for you and it's going to be annoying and it's just not going to be a good time. He's new to the group, but he knows what he's doing. Okay, so that is the issue then. Okay, now that is about a million times worse, because if it's not somebody that's like new to the game, but only new to the group, there's a very like likely chance that he's not going to tone down that rule lawyering very much. And it also makes a lot more sense than why he was doing that, because if you're not like experienced within the game, it makes no sense to bitch about rules. If you have experience in the game but just not within a group, that makes a lot more sense to do. It's still, don't get me wrong, it's still a dick move. You kind of just go with it's I imagine, and maybe like tabletop RPGs have a different culture around this, but I imagine it's kind of the same as most board games, right? Where, yeah, there's a set of rules, but every like group of people playing it will probably have a slight variance on at least some of those rules. Like, the most well-known example of that is free parking in Monopoly. I don't know whoever the fuck came up with the idea that free parking is just like you get all the money that has been put into like the middle of the board, which putting money in the middle of the board does not happen within the official rules. You just put it back into the bank when you have to pay something like that. Like, somebody at some point came up with that free parking mechanic, and now a lot of people use it, but it's not part of the official rule set. I presume something like that also might happen with tabletop RPG related gameplay sessions. Or the idea that... I don't exactly remember what the thing is, but there's also something in Monopoly about hotels and houses. I think you can only like build one house per square per turn. So you can't just buy a hotel right off the bat. You're going to need to like buy one house, then buy another house the next turn, then buy the third house that turn after. As well as, I think, when you put down a hotel, a lot of people take the houses from that spot and put them back into the bank. I don't think you're allowed to do that either, because that way you create scarcity and you can actually start trading the hotels and houses around as well. That is the original intention of the game, I do believe. Hello, Deoxys! You're not going to be very useful, are you? Well, it could be worse. Which is just to say that everybody, like every group of people playing a board game, will probably play it slightly differently. And I can imagine tabletop RPGs having something similar. And at that point, when you're joining a new group, you follow their damn rules. Period. When I was told about the health, he had spent 30 minutes talking about not knowing Zoro's height, weight, and age. That doesn't seem great. The rules for tabletop RPGs are a guide, not always law. The only laws in tabletop RPGs are set by the GM. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a very good point that I hadn't even considered up until this point, is that, especially in a tabletop RPG, you have a game master or a dungeon master, or however the fuck like the game calls it, which is the person deciding the fucking rules. Isn't it? Like, at least when you're playing Monopoly, you can have some kind of discussion, because you're like, I play it this way, yeah, but I play it this way, because nobody's leading the game. I guess in Monopoly, actually, the person playing the bank would be leading the game. So that would kind of be like the game master. Fair enough. But if you're playing like, I don't fucking know, Uno also has a lot of variations on rule sets. Nobody's like leading that game, so there's a little bit more room for discussion maybe in playing the game like that. But with tabletop RPGs, there's always somebody like leading the game, so what they say, like that goes, right? I assume there's not going to be a lot of arguing with the person who like made the campaign. It just sounds kind of stupid to do. Again, if I'm wrong somewhere, please do feel free to correct me, because I am mostly very ignorant on this topic. As am I ignorant in how to fucking beat the upcoming gym at this rate, because holy fucking hell. I'm just getting very bad RNG with the things I roll into as well. Okay, maybe not always. Except for the fact that it didn't have any damaging moves. And now we have a fucking Weedle. Come on, give me like a Rayquaza. Hitmonlee works as well. That's a Hitmonlee, right? Yeah, that's Hitmonlee. Okay, let's go into the gym again. Perfect music as well for this gym. It's not, by the way. That was sarcasm, which was very bad sarcasm. Okay. Let's do this. Let's see what we lead this fight with. He leads with Voltorb. We lead with Cargo, which actually might not be that bad, honestly. That was very not great start on my part. It's also just not a great roll again. Just not a great roll at all. Wait. What does that say? Trusting Car? Followed 35 minutes ago. I'm very sorry I missed that. I don't think my Twitch alerts is working after all, or my OBS Streamlabs, that's what it's called these days. I don't think my Streamlabs is working after all. I'm very sorry about that. I'm going to have to like manually keep an eye on that. I'm very sorry that I missed that. I didn't even test. I tested it. Like, I could... luckily, that was an empty cup of tea. I can even show you, right? Because I'll go to alert box, and I go test widget follow. It shows. Maybe it just didn't make a sound. Maybe it just didn't hear the sound. I honestly don't know. You know what we're going to do? I'm just going to be playing using that preview window. It is going to be a little weird to get used to. But that way at least I see it when somebody follows. If it actually shows, that is. Certainly that is an issue that I'm going to have to look into. I'm going to look back in the vault whether or not that is something that showed up. If I don't forget, I probably will forget, to be honest. It's real weird to look at the preview screen. It doesn't even like have delay or anything. It just feels real weird to do. So I'm not going to do that after all. Subpar Magneton, we can... I guess we can Will-O-Wisp you first, so that at least you'll burn, getting some residual damage in. And then maybe we can roar you? No, we cannot do such a thing. Live, Amber, burn. Super Potion, Amber. At least we wasted one of your Super Potions. That is something. That's probably going to not kill me. Never mind. Okay. Now you only have your Manectric left. With the roll we had, which again wasn't great, I'm frankly surprised that we got this far. We're going to die. But if we get a better roll, if we get one ground type, that's all we need. Because the only damaging move that's not electric in this entire gym is Sonic Boom. I think we can work around just Sonic Boom. I just need a ground type. Like, you can give me... It's not a ground type. You're a ground type, however. Oh, also self-destruct. Fair enough. I kind of asked for that one, didn't I? Let's try to use Dom for the Electrike, because why not is really what it goes down to. There's no better... There's no better reason. It's just why not. Because we had a Wobbuffet, that's why not. We had a Wynaut and a Wobbuffet on the same team. Also 2 Celebes, also 2 Zapdos. Okay, you... probably will die to a... Of course, you don't have Earthquake. You're only level 20. I forgot that. I forgot that for a moment. That's very stupid on my part. Let's see what a Mud Slap does. Actually, that is a insane amount of damage for Mud Slap. Wow. I need to keep self-destructs. I need to keep self-destruct from Manectric. But I have low kick. Hold on, I have low kick. Which is also super effective against Magneton. This might be the attempt. Because we can now go back into Who Am I? Presumably Manectric can't touch me. It has Quick Attack, never mind. I think that means we fail. Because Subpar is only going to have Harden. Because fucking Metapods. Please just murder me. Thank you. And then not Magikarp. This is probably the closest thing to a Magikarp it's been yet, actually. Remember last stream when 1 hour in we had done like 2 gyms? Yeah, those were good times, weren't they? That's not happening today. Full top against a... it's not... I'm just getting really unlucky with my typing matchups. I suppose we'll try to flail. Maybe Supersonic you, actually. Oh, you have soundproof. Then what do we do? Guess not Magikarp. You know what? Yeah. Okay, minimize spamming didn't work. It always works when the opponent uses that strategy. That was probably the worst Pokemon to use self-destruct against you could have chosen. Just straight up. Probably the worst. You know what, Regirock, you're a subpar legendary, but you're still quite useful here. I don't have anything to deal with Magneton, I don't think, so yeah, that's where we ended here. Maybe you have... You know what, we can try a rollout. Maybe a rollout will... no. It very much didn't do the trick. Anorith! Anorith. I can tell you who you are. You're a useless piece of shit. That's what you are. I guess we explode on your face and just at least kill the Magneton that way. And then we go into Dom and we get one shot with Shockwave. It's almost like I can see the future. Except I can't. It's just very obvious what's about to happen there. Fuck this gym puzzle. You might be thinking, hey, why aren't you doing a little bit more grinding? Because it really seems like you could be using a little bit more experience. That is not the issue. My level isn't necessarily... Look at this randomization. I have a Kakuna and a Wurmple. And Brio, shut the fuck up. I'm pitying myself. Also, I have 2 water types. Snorunt is legitimately probably the most useful thing on this team. Except maybe Celebi. Let's try to get the stat increases with Ancient Power. That might be the best way for me to at least do something here. 5 Ancient Powers, 0 stat increases. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Okay, that's good to know. I guess we stay in with Celebi and we... Yeah, no, actually, no, we don't. That's a very bad idea. Seadra, there we go. Water Gun? It works decently well against Electrite. It also fucking kills me. Yeah, levels definitely aren't a problem. I'm not even that low leveled compared to the gym. It's just RNG is fucking me so bad. Like, what are the odds? On a 6-person team, you get at least 1 ground type. Fairly high. So far, that happened once. Admittedly, I did fuck up a couple of things there. Well, I guess we need a ground type with a good ground type move. Or a ground type and a fighting type. We need a little bit more specific permutation than just a ground type. But it's fairly... RNGesus, thank you. It's fairly close to just needing a ground type and being kind of fine after that. Freeze. I need to freeze you. At least you're going to be slow as shit in a moment here. So you won't outspeed anything anymore. Yeah, you don't have a damaging attack. So we go into Dom and we... Confusion you to death, maybe? Yeah, I didn't think so. Clutch Poison Sting, super critically. Wait, Steel type is immune to poison? Why do I feel like that's not entirely accurate in modern generations? Just kill me. Just fucking kill me already, please. This is not fun. No, don't make me use Recover. I don't want to use Recover. I just want to die. If that's not the most millennial thing I've ever said, I don't know what is. And I would just harden. Which also is a very millennial thing to say, I suppose. Okay, Orange Jesus. I'm going to actually like murder your entire family if you don't help me out here. Okay, that's a decent start. I think this is something I can work with. I think I can work with this. First and foremost, set up a reflect. Fuck you. First and foremost, set up a reflect. Reflect raises physical defense. I thought it was light screen. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so that doesn't really matter too much. Turns out. But at least we took out 2 of his Pokemon without burping. Sorry. Without too much trouble. I'm assuming you have a fighting type move by level 20, right? Yeah, you don't. Still is immune to poison. I think there's a few abilities that affect that. Is it still immune to poison in modern generations? Because that feels like something that's just not the case in Gen 6, 7, 8. Maybe I'm just mistaken. I probably am. But that feels like that was like switched in Gen 7 with like a lot of rebalancing. I don't know what I thought this was gonna do. It's mostly the Magneton that's being problematic. Fairly consistently. We can put you to sleep. And then lead sheet you. Yeah. That's a strategy. There we go. There we go. It's chip damage, but it's damage. Which chips. Well, I was actually confused now as well. So maybe keeping it awake is the better option. At least I'm regaining HP at a somewhat decent pace. And you're wasting your super potions on the Magneton, which is asleep, which, holy crap, how many turns can you be asleep? This thing just doesn't wake up. Holy crap, I got so... Orange Jesus, I love you. Forget everything I said about you. Orange Jesus, I fucking love you. That was awesome. Salazzle has corrosion ability that affects steel types. You are entirely correct. You're entirely correct. That is a thing that Salazzle has, which that ability only makes sense if steel type usually is immune to poison. I'm just gonna explode on you or self-destruct. And with that we win. I'm not gonna claim victory there. I mean, we did win. But I'm not going to claim that was due to anything I did, because a lot of that victory came down to the fact that Magneton stayed asleep for like probably 5 or 6 or 7 turns in a row. Something along those lines. It's something ridiculous, anyway. You don't need the experience right now, so let's switch you out from not Magikarp, and then with Dominic. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and now we get 2 good Pokemon. Well, fair enough, there are 2 water types, which would have been real bad in the gym just now. So, maybe I'm happy that I didn't get the randomization 1 battle earlier. I don't know what the rest of my team looks like. Yeah, this would have been real bad in the gym. I'm very glad that I didn't get this as the randomization in the gym. Well, now you're both level 21, so we're going to switch you up front. Do you give me Rock Smash? You don't. How do I get Rock Smash again? Wait, I think he tells me. Hold on. Oh no, my uncle in Morville told me to Rock Smash with me if I was going to ride. Okay, that's where we got Rock Smash. That is a very, very straightforward way of... You don't look like the type that would be an uncle. I mean, I'm saying that as being a person who is also an uncle. I don't know, when I hear the word uncle, I always think about like a kind of hairy fat dude. Just to be blunt. Which isn't that far off from me, actually, so maybe that is somewhat correct. Remember when you have, when you need to surf, but you don't have a Pokemon that can. I mean, you can just go fight a random battle, and you probably will get a Water type fairly easily, because Water type is the most common type in the game, and most Water types can learn Surf, so that probably isn't an issue. What I would be more worried about if you're doing this in Pokemon Platinum or something like that, and you need Rock Climb. Rock Climb is a fairly unique move in the sense that not a lot of Pokemon can learn it compared to other HMs. Please don't tell me that I'm going to lose to the thing I transformed into. I am, okay. I just straight up would have. Way to call out my 3 battles to get a server. That is insanely bad luck. Do you have a full team of 6? Because it's like in this game there's 386 Pokemon, I think. And I honestly think that probably 1 in 6 of those Pokemon, it's Bob. Not 1 in 6 of those Pokemon is Bob. But probably 1 of 6 in those 300 something Pokemon is a Water type, right? That doesn't seem too far off from being a realistic statistic. 1 in 6. So, statistically speaking, every randomization, there should be a pretty decent chance that you at least have 1 Water type on your team at any given point. Now, combine that with the fact that you did 3 randomizations and still didn't have anything, that is just real bad RNG. I'm sorry, dude. I'm glad that you got something on your 3rd try at least, and it didn't take like 50. That would have been absolutely fucking insane. Theoretically possible, I suppose. Yeah, actually, I'll take this. Beating a hiker with a Water type? That's the easiest job I've ever done. Easier than fucking Watson, I'll tell you that much. I hope Flannery is not going to be an issue. I mean, at least Flannery is not going to have a fucking Jirachi and Groudon on the same team. Because that was just not fun. that was just hell. Groudon and Jirachi. Or was it Ho-Oh and Jirachi? I think I had a Ho-Oh that died. I think he had a, or she had a Groudon and a Jirachi. It's been a while since I've played that, obviously. So I don't remember all the details. Probably should have used Seismitoss on Shroomish, because I think Wallagon would have taken out the Numel anyway. It definitely will take out the Slugma. I got 2 Sandra and a Walrein. Wait, on 1 randomization? Or... That is real good. But if you mean the Walrein... Walrein should be able to learn Surf, right? Or is this not related to the surfing incident anymore? I'm assuming it's not related to surfing anymore, because otherwise... I can't see a world where a huge-ass whale doesn't learn Surf. Then again, there's birds that can't learn fly, or flying things that can't learn fly, and certain things that you definitely shouldn't be able to fly on that can fly, or learn fly, I should say. It's the classic Pokemon comic where you try to teach fly to your Crobat, and Crobat's like, nope, I have no idea how this works, and then you look up and you see your rival flying away on a Pidgey, which is just absolutely dying because it's just a Pidgey. That sometimes does happen. The final roll was a Sandras and a Walrein. Thankfully, they could both learn. So, oh yeah, of course, Sandras can also... at least like Noon. I'm assuming Sandra as well, and yeah, because you literally just said that, so I don't know why I'm questioning it because you tried to teach it to him. And I didn't. So if you were saying that he can learn it, obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's uneasy. Anyway, so long story short, you didn't get a Pokemon that can learn Surf for... Oh! Did I say centered on Linoon? I meant Furret. But I did mean Linoon with learning Surf. I just... For some reason, in my mind, Sandra just evolved into Linoon. And the fact that we had a Zigzagoon that evolved into a Linoon, as we were talking about, that I am upset about having a Ho-Oh that I can't use. The fact that we had a Zigzagoon that transformed or evolved into a Linoon, as I was talking about Linoon in the wrong context, is kind of amazing. Like, say what you will about RNG and my RNG in that Watson fight. There's a lot of, like, other types of RNG and stuff like that, which are going very well in my favor. Very, like, unlikely things. Getting 2 Celebes on one team. Getting 2 Zapdos on one team. Having the Sandra Linoon thing going on at the same time. Final roll was a Sandra and a Walrat. Oh, you already said that. I don't know why I thought it was a new message. Let's switch out again because you're level 22 now. Sandra becomes Obstagoon confirmed. I actually like the fact that they added Obstagoon because in one of the very first ROM hacks I ever played, Pokemon Snakewood, they added an evolution. Hold on. They added an evolution for Linoon. And it was like some kind of crazy looking Rayquaza, I think. Just go into this. And then when they actually added Obstagoon, I had to immediately think back to that. And it kind of filled me with a bit of nostalgia. Because I was like, how old was I when I played Pokemon Snakewood for the first time? By the way, real bad hack. It's not well made at all. It's fun. It does something slightly different than just like, oh, it's a new region. Like, it's the same region. It's a sequel to Pokemon Ruby in a zombie apocalypse world. It's kind of neat, honestly. It's not well made, but it's kind of neat. But I'm 25 now. So in my mind, when I think about it, like the first thing my emotions go to is like, I must have been like 12 when I played that. That doesn't seem very realistic that it was 13 years ago because I learned about it through YouTube. And I don't think YouTube at this point is 13. It might be 13 years old, but I wasn't on YouTube at that point. And especially not watching Pokemon videos, I don't think. So it probably was not 13 years ago, but it's probably close to 10 years ago at this point that I played that game for the first time. It's a product of its time and the creator's skill level. That is a very politically correct way to say that it just kind of sucks. But you're right, it's a product of its time. It's from a time... Hello, we're going to fight about 1 billion Spinda, all with different patterns here. That's very fun. ROMhacks at the time weren't this huge thing. A couple of years after Snakewood, I think. I might have my timeline mixed up here, so if that is the case, do please feel free to correct me. But a couple of years after Snakewood, a lot of very big ROM hacks started to like be a thing. But I think Snakewood was a pretty early ROM hack from what I remember. Maybe just because it's one of the first ones that I played. And the other ones already existed. And I just played them later. That is entirely possible. And even somewhat... Again, 2 of the same Pokemon! Even somewhat likely. But things like Pokemon Sacred Gold and Pokemon Light Platinum and that kind of thing, those are really good ROM hacks. Like, those are really, really cool ROM hacks. Not very unique. Sacred Gold, that is. Light Platinum is very much unique. YouTube is 16 years... God damn it, YouTube is 16 years old. That fucking messes with me. That really fucking messes with me. You know what also messes with me? If I'm saying, oh yeah, this is Bob. This is not Bob. This is a Ludicolo. But just stick with me here, because it's the first name that came to mind. This is Bob. Let's change the name to Jimmy. This is Jimmy. Jimmy was born in 2002. What do you imagine? Because when I say Jimmy was born in 2002, I imagine like a 9-year-old. If Jimmy was born in 2002, he can vote. What? Also, again, two of the same Pokemon! What is this RNG? This is ridiculous! Holy shit! I don't think this will hit, right? It's Earthquake. It's good to keep in mind, though. I don't think I really have anything to hit Skarmory with. So, might as well use you and just... You're probably going to use a physical attack, or maybe not. Let's just Destiny Bond, actually. That at least did a bit of damage. I'm old as fuck. Yeah, that's how that makes me feel. That is exactly the way I feel when I think about it that way. And I could make you feel even older, because I picked 2002. Somebody born in 2002, at this point is about 19. You could go 2003, and probably the person would be 18 as well. So, this isn't great. It's, time is a weird thing, dude. Time is weird. I'm old enough to have a 9-year-old as my child. That, I'm assuming by that you mean that you are 18 plus 9? Because technically speaking, like biologically speaking I should say, I am also old enough to have a 9-year-old. Because I'm 25, so 25 minus 9 will be 14. At 14 you can have a kid. It's not advisable, it's quite the contrary, but biologically speaking, at 14 you could have a kid. Again, I'm assuming you mean that you're 18 plus 9, so that's 27. You're 30. Okay, so that would be like having a kid at 21, which would mean that at this point I would have a 4-year-old. Oh my god, no. I hate children to begin with. Which maybe, like, aspiring to a YouTube career when you hate children isn't the best idea. I don't know, I don't need to go into the box. Okay, Meteor Falls time. Also, you're 30. Frankly, I don't know if I'm the only one that does this, probably not. But unless people tell me their age on the internet, I always assume that people are roughly the same age as me. And usually it ends up being, actually, I'm like 15. Like, okay, you're 10 years younger than me. The fuck? Rarely do I run into somebody where I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably around the same age as me, and then they're like, I'm 30, and I'm like, what? like, what are the adults doing on the internet? And then I remember, oh fuck, I'm also one of these adults that's like, stuck on the internet. Shit. That's not good. You can be a YouTuber without liking kids. That's true. You only need to really pretend to like kids. And technically speaking, you can be a YouTuber without liking kids, because there's ways to like have an audience comprised of mostly like adolescent and adult people, but it's a lot more difficult. And also the subscriber and viewer and as a result income ceiling of that is a lot lower as well. I'm not saying that that is like the most important factor, especially if you're just doing this because you like doing it and not as a purely business related thing. But if you're aiming your content towards kids, it's definitely like a lot easier, and there's a lot more potential for like huge channels there. I thought you had to fight here, though, is the thing. I guess you don't. Sure.
I'm a millennial. We go wherever the fuck we want, and we leave when Gen Z starts being insufferable.
That seems about right.
I would honestly say that the better way to say that is that I'm a millennial, which
I'm technically speaking not. I'm in that very weird time zone where you're like technically Gen Z, but really your experiences are mostly millennial related. So you're like a zillennial.
and it's just a very weird identity crisis.
For everybody born between like 1996 and 2000. It's real fucking weird. That's a train battle, you can't run from that. But I would say that the more accurate way to say that is I'm a millennial. I go wherever the fuck I want until Gen X shows up, and then we get the fuck out because those people are fucking insane.
Also boomers, but that's why we're on the internet, so we don't have to interface too much with boomers.
The OK boomer meme is very funny, but it's mostly set towards Gen X, not actually boomers, because boomers are way too fucking old to be very active on the internet. By and large, obviously there's like a lot of grandparent aged people that are active on the internet, and that's very fun, but those are definitely the exception to the rule, which is people of that age, when they see a computer, they think it's dark magic.
Millennials are fine.
I like Gen X, they're good people. I very much would like to be introduced to the Gen Xers who are good people. Because I don't know that many of them. I don't know that many Gen Xers, I suppose. I guess a fair amount of my teachers in college technically were Gen X. And most of them were actually pretty like nice people. So I suppose you've got a point there. Wurmple is evolving! That's very nice, because the moment you're getting sent into another battle, you're going to be a different Pokemon anyway. So it literally doesn't matter. I probably should be switching around my Pokemon a little bit more, right? So maybe Gen X isn't that bad. Maybe they're just mostly bad on social media is what's the issue, and that's where I interface with most people these days, because COVID!
Can't fucking wait for that to be over. Most of my main tabletop RPG are Gen X.
That is honestly wild. Like, it's probably something to do with like that 5 year age difference between you and me, between like being 25 and being 30. But I have a very hard time imagining sitting down and like having leisure, fun time playing a game with an entire group of like Gen X people.
Not that I wouldn't.
It's not like I'm being ageist or anything. It's just like that is just far enough removed from me and my peers and my age. Well, that's what peers means. And my interests, generally speaking. And my like life experience and stuff like that, and all that kind of jazz, right? That I wouldn't feel like there would be any kind of decent relationship there apart from like a professional relationship. Like, you can be nice and people can be nice, but like not and friendly, but not friends, if that makes any sense.
There is a cutoff point there at some point, right?
And it's not to say that, again, just because somebody has a certain age and belongs within a certain generation, especially if those people are like towards the lower end of that generational cycle, is what I was going to say. Well, I guess the word cycle does make sense there. It's complicated, but by and large, it's not something that I think would be very fitting for me. And it's a very interesting way to think about it, because we tend to think about these generations as like one giant group of people who all more or less are the same. But a lot of things on my team cannot actually learn Rock Smash right now. Wow. But obviously, one of the generations is like 10 to 15 years long, generally, right? So the difference between the oldest members of that generation and the youngest members is absolutely huge. You can see that with, especially right now, because like Gen Z is just about like being ready to be adults, and millennials are actual adults at this point. And then you have people like me in the middle of that, which kind of identify with both. Because technically I am like Gen Z, if you want to classify it that way. But I identify a lot more with like the experiences most millennials have had. So obviously there's no cutoff point. And in a very similar way, I can definitely see like millennials that are a little bit like towards the, well, if you're 30 now, you're not necessarily towards the higher end of the millennial spectrum. But if you then have Gen X's, which are towards the lower side of that spectrum, you're much closer to each other's age than I would ever be.
All the millennials are in the 40s. Oh my god, like the way I still picture millennials is like the older of them are like 35, but you're entirely correct. Like a lot of them are getting close to their 40s at this point. It helped that my worldviews fall more in line with Gen X than most of my age group.
That is also like sometimes personality is more important than age, and like worldview and political affiliations and stuff like that. It's not like I've never like just have been friendly with people outside of my age range. It's funnily enough, over the last couple of years, it's been more my age range than ever before. Also, I used to always be the oldest in the group, and that's just not the case. Finally, we have a Rayquaza, which we're not going to use because it's level 24. So it's going to be a last-ditch effort.
Well, late 20s, early 30s. 97 is the end of millennials. Well, 96, 97, depending on the source.
Yeah, I was thinking the other way around. I was like, hold on a moment. I am born in 96. Where does that place me? But I was looking at it from like 96, counting back from 2021. Well, it's counting up from the year zero, technically, I suppose. But I don't think we really have a name for the generation that was born between like 850 and 860. I don't think that generation has a name because it's very much not relevant to our current society. It's a very good question. When did we start naming these generations? Because it really feels like we retrospectively have given a lot of generations names over the last couple of years. Or is that just because I've only heard of most of this over the last couple of years and people have been referring to these generations this specific way for decades and I just only recently found out? Because I honestly feel like the whole generational... Maybe it didn't start, but maybe it got popularized due to this. I honestly feel like the whole like splitting people up into generations and giving them fun names started with people calling a certain generation of people millennials. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what it feels like to me. And then other generations were put around that, which also makes sense why... I guess baby boomers actually existed way earlier and were referred to as boomers. Well, baby boomers, which we now just call boomers. So I suppose that might have been the first generation to get like a specific name to them that way. But it does explain why we have Gen X, then Millennials, and then Gen Z. Like, what the hell happened there? Like, what does Gen Z and Gen X even mean? That's just a very arbitrary name because we're naming certain generations, so everybody who doesn't have a name now gets a name because everybody needs to get a name and a label and stuff like... I don't know.
The Silent Generation is the oldest name, that is 1900 to 1920s, I think.
I just call that dead people, honestly, because I... How many people from those years are still even alive? Like, if you were born in 1920, specifically 1920, the very latest of that category, you're 101. There's 101-year-old people on this planet. But you could probably fit all those people, like, on a single page of, like, just standard formatted text. It's a very weird way to measure an amount, being able to fit something on one page. But I do think it does give a decent visualization as to how little people that is. Well, maybe not if you press enter after every single name. I was just thinking like writing them back to back to back to back to back. Nope, I was wrong. That's the Lost Generation, and they're from 1883 to 1900. That is insane. I never knew that. Again, those people are most definitely dead, because if you're born in 1900, you would be 121 now, and I don't think there's a single 120-year-old on planet Earth at the moment. I think we've had 120-year-old people, but I think it was a woman. It was that age. Died a few years back, right? Oh, I'm loving the Dragon Rage. Thank you for giving me that to me. Actually, specifically right on time. I don't know how old the oldest living person on Earth is right now. It's probably somewhere between 150 and 120. Last one died in 2018. Yeah, so that makes sense. A few years ago, 120 at that point, roughly. A little under 120, I suppose. It's crazy how old people get. Like 100 years is a damn long time. And at the same time, it's also a very short time. I honestly can't imagine 100 fucking years. I've been alive for 25. Obviously, like the first X amount of years I don't really have any active memories of. And my perception of at least the first, like, 70% of my life at this point is also very skewed because that was my childhood, which is experienced in a very different way with, like, your experience of time compared to the rest of your life. Every year is different, but years start to feel very much more similar once you've hit, like, 20-something, right? Whereas if you're 5, a year seems to last fucking forever. It's just like proportional to your age. So I can't even imagine what 100 years of living would be like. Which also, it's a little fun, not even like fact, it's just a mathematical truth which a lot of people don't really consider. But by definition, unless they're divorced, I suppose, by definition, your parents have known each other for such a long time that you cannot imagine it. Because by definition, they've known each other longer than you have existed. So there is no way for you to actively imagine how long, like how it feels to have known somebody for that long. Does that make any sense? Am I making sense? I swear I'm not high. But this is a thing that I realized, like just mathematically speaking, like months ago at this point, and it's kind of stuck with me, honestly. It's kind of stuck with me. I'm going to attempt this gym, and we'll see how it goes. I'm probably going to need to do a little bit of grinding, but then again, fire types might be easier to overcome than electric types because of the fact, which I said before. You know what, I'm just going to keep leading with my strong Pokemon here and hope that they randomized into water type. Statistically speaking, that's a fair bit more likely than it was before. Because again, there's a lot of water types in the game, and also a shit ton of water type. That's not a good matchup. But then we just go into Lapras, and you probably also have... No, you don't, but you have Body Slam, so I guess that's a thing. Let's do as much of these battles as we can before Grumpig. Okay, that's fairly unfortunate as far as randomization go, but it's going to be an easy fight either way. So maybe it's fortunate that we get a bad roll on this one, so that we can get a good roll on the next one. Let's go heal up, because something is poisoned, and that might end up turning into the water type that we need. So if everything goes according to plan, we will have done 2 gyms again today. So that means that we're pretty much on schedule to maybe actually finish this community run for a change, which would be, I think, one of the first community runs that we actually finish. I thought I was going to pick the right one first time. That would have been... It's an Omanyte again. That would have been great. We didn't. This one is the one that... No, it's not. Okay, as much as I hate the gym in... do you have... No, you don't have Sunny Day. Okay. As much as I hate the Saffron City gym in Kanto, and as much as this gym reminds me of that gym, I actually rather like this one. I think it's this one, right? And then we... Come on. No! We got sent all the way back to the start! God damn it! And we're doing a double battle now. Actually, that might be a... You know what? Sure, that works for me. And you're probably just gonna die to... Okay, neither of them died. Never mind. Sure. Now both of them die. Having something with Rain Dance might actually be... I mean, obviously we're not going to have this Poliwag for the... We might, but we probably won't have the Poliwag going forward here. Even if it evolves, doesn't matter. Having something with Rain Dance might be very useful after all. So it is this one, and then this one. God, that was it! That was the one I needed. I just ran past it. God damn it. Okay, let's do this properly. This one, and that. Almost. Almost. Come on. Focus. You pick this one. And you pick this one. And there we have Flannery. And now I'm going to lose and have to do that all again. To be fair, I like this version of the gym more than the Hard Gold Soul Silver. Oh, that's just bad. Is this super effective? It's super effective! That is amazing! That is such good. Look, this is water type, right? It is water type. We got an unknown with hidden power. I mean, it's based on IV, so it's just the first Pokemon, like Insanity, just has water type hidden power. But that is amazing that just happened to be water type hidden power. Oh, I love that. I don't love the fact that we don't have a water type move on this water type. I guess we can Supersonic you and just like let you kill yourself, and then we can switch out into whatever the fuck. Camera up. I don't know, who am I? I'm probably going to have to redo this. I very much doubt that I'll be able to win this first time. Since when do you actually have a camera up? Hold on a moment. Wait. Oh, that doesn't do a lot of damage, does it? Your special attack is lowering very quickly, though, so that's good. And with Rage, We fall in love. Unknown must be feeling very conflicted right now. He's very raged against Camelot, but also in love with this Camelot. Which honestly just is a very relatable feeling. Maybe at this point Dom wouldn't be a bad idea. We can Metronome. Let's see what Metronome does for us. Poison Sting. Okay, let's see what Metronome does for us. Nothing. Rock Smash. Emerald. Oh, that makes sense. It's an addition in Emerald. That actually probably should have just realized that on my own. But that means her Ace Pokemon changes between versions. Because her Ace was Torkoal, and I don't think Torkoal is going to be higher level than level 26, right? Is she going to have a level 30 Torkoal? Because if that's the case, there's literally no way that we win this fight. Okay, so again, a water type would be kind of neat, but I just realized that maybe a ground or rock type would be very much better. Because Sunny Day will decrease the power from water type moves, but if I can get an earthquake, we good. So let's try to get lucky. Hopefully. Okay, that's a good start. It's a real good start, because we get a Water Gun, instantly kill the first Pokemon. Then Slugma, we instantly okay, 2-hit kill that, and the Sunny Day comes out. So, okay, this is a 3-hit, and special defense increase now, so it's a 4-hit. I think this might be a good moment to see if we can switch into... We have a lot of water types, holy hell. Sunny Day runs out. Right? Or is this...
Oh, it doesn't in this generation, does it? Or is that just with Drought and
Drizzle, where it doesn't run out? I'm just gonna self-destruct on the camera up. Suicide. It's also a type of self-destruction, I guess. Do you by any chance have Bullet Seed? No, you don't. Gonna send you out and... Crunch? Oh my god, that is amazing! I mean, that was a critical hit, I am aware, but still. Okay, Crunch it is, level 29. It's almost a level 30 Torkoal. I was not entirely incorrect. Sunny Day is on the timer, okay. Which, at this point, probably is run out. Okay, we win. Again, water types, fairly easy to get. I do think that's a pretty good point to wrap things up for now, because what else could we do? I mean, we can go through the desert, I guess, but now we have to go... Where do we go next? Hold on. 5th gym. Oh, we go back to Norman. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to do a little bit of grinding to take down Norman. Because his slackings go up a fairly high level. And we're going to have to do a lot of walking to get back there as well. So, okay, so let's do the walking back to Petalburg in this episode. Which actually, maybe that's a horrible idea. Because if I need to do some grinding, I'll be surrounded with low-level Pokemon if I'm in Petalburg. Yeah, I'm going to have to work out my daddy issues next train. For now, we... Do I have a bike voucher yet? Can I get a bike? Did you come far away? Kinda, yeah. Little route. My goodness, that's ridiculously far. I'll give you a bike. Wait a second. I forgot. I have two kind of bikes. Micro bike and... I still don't know why they did this. Because you always want the Mark bike. Unless... I mean, I guess there is a real good reason for the Acro bike. There's just no good reason for those bikes not to be the same bike. At all. There's going to be a couple of trainer fights happening here. I do realize. So let's start with not Magikarp. I don't need to vouch for 2nd gen on. That really says something about me, because I started playing Gen 3 and I thought I needed a voucher for this game. Dom can maybe, like, jump kick? Hidden power. Or hurt itself in confusion. Hidden power, please be fighting. It's not very effective. It's the opposite of fighting. Then we, I guess, go back into not Magikarp, which very much indeed is not a Magikarp. We belly drum, because you're not going to be able to damage us very much anyway. And we headbutt you. I actually use belly drum. I am kind of impressed with myself, honestly. I never thought I was going to use belly drum in a non-ironic situation. You probably have something ground type related at this point. You don't. But you have 10 levels over this Magnemite, so there is that. I do realize, by the way, that this is definitely not the most efficient way to get back to Petalburg. Going through Meteor Falls is the intended way to get back to Petalburg, and definitely the faster way. But now we're already on the cycling road, so I'm gonna keep doing this.
I started with Gen 1 and 2 20-some years ago.
I know, right? It's so long ago. Pokemon is exactly as old, well, not to the day, but like at least to the year, is exactly as old as I am, 25 years. Pokemon Red and Green were released in 1996 in Japan. If you're talking North American and European release, obviously that is 2 years later, I believe, 1998. But the initial original Pokemon games were released probably mere months after I was born. Which can't be a coincidence, right? Because I'm so good at Pokemon, it's because the universe imbued me with Pokemon energy. If you couldn't tell, it's highly sarcastic. I'm not great at Pokemon. I am at that point on like the Dunning-Kruger curve where I am a decent way past the hill of ignorance. I am very deep in the valley of ignorance, I think is what they call it. Which is to say that I know that there's a lot of things that I don't know. Well, it's not even that I don't know things. I know a lot of things about Pokemon on a technical level. It's just I don't really put those into practice. And I'm not particularly strong with like keeping up with the competitive metagame. So in that regard, there's a lot of things that I indeed do not know. But I know enough to know that I don't know a lot. Which I think is the most important takeaway there. But yeah, Pokemon Emerald was actually the first Pokemon game I played. And after that I think it might have been either... I don't know. It was either the Japanese Pokemon Diamond, or it was Pokemon Yellow? I think, maybe? I don't know. Let's go to Dewford. And the moment we arrive in Dewford, we immediately go back to Petalburg. I've played a lot of versions of Gen 4, by the way. I've played the Japanese version of Diamond. I've played the American version of Diamond. You might say, hey, you live in Europe. Yeah, it was released like 3 months later in Europe, so I just bought a American version. I've played like a Pakistani version, I think, of Pearl. It was just a very eBay, like a very cheap eBay boy, and I needed Pearl to get the Pokédex complete because I needed a Palkia and some other things, but mostly Palkia. And obviously I've played the Japanese version of Platinum and then the European version of Platinum. And then I played like a billion more times of Platinum because the moment Platinum was released, there's literally no reason for Diamond and Pearl to exist anymore. I was 7 when Pokemon was released in North America, but didn't get them until 2000, 2001. That does make about sense, because that would be 1998, and if you're 5 years older than me, that would mean that if I was 0 when it was released in Japan, means I was about 2 years old when they were released in North America and Europe. Which means that if you're 5 years older, you would be about 7. So, that math checks out. First Pokemon game being Yellow. I feel like there's a lot, especially like people that are a couple of years older than me. A lot of people's introduction probably was Yellow because that was a direct like tie-in to the anime, and I feel like the anime, especially here in the West, introduced a lot of people to Pokemon. Without the anime, I don't think Pokemon would have been as big over here in the West. Obviously, the anime was made to promote the Gen 2 games, even though it was a Gen 1 thing. But the anime was very much later. I don't know. Well, it was made to promote Gen 1 and tease Gen 2 with Ho-Oh. That's what the thing is. It's not made to promote Gen 2. That makes a lot more sense now that I think about it. But anyway, so yeah, without the anime, I don't think a lot of people would have gotten into the Pokemon games. And I think the fact that they made Pokemon Yellow to go along with the anime was a brilliant move. Because going from the anime to Pokemon Red or Green or Blue would have been fine, but just like ever so slightly too much different maybe for a lot of people. Being able to first go into Yellow and from there start to enjoy the actual gameplay. Also, Yellow is just a better like functioning game than Red and Blue. It's still a broken mess, but a little bit less at least. Going into that, people can like start to enjoy the game, and then when Gold and Silver were released, you can take a step away from the anime and let the game shine on their own. I think from a like sales and marketing perspective, Pokemon Yellow was a genius idea, and I think it's paid off to this day. My dad took Red and Blue back. I got Gold and Silver the next day. I got Red and Blue again. I got to Pokemon through the TCG. Huh, that's interesting. That feels like a path that you don't... I mean, I'm going to check the stream in a moment, but that feels like a path that you don't hear too often. That people first get into the TCG for Pokemon and then into the rest. It kind of... I feel like it's usually the opposite. People who are into Pokemon and also like card games like can get into the TCG and very much enjoy it. And apparently it's a pretty active scene. I'm not very much into card games. I mean, I like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm not very like up to date. If you spend any time in the Yu-Gi-Oh channel on my Discord server, you'll see that my knowledge of modern day Yu-Gi-Oh is just absolutely fucked. So I didn't interface too much with like the TCG side of the Pokemon community. Anyhow. Also, thank you for hosting me to one viewer. Tristan Cole. That was also a notification that I just entirely missed. Anyway, so that's been the stream for this, I was going to say this month. We're going to be back next week. I'm not going to take a month off, don't worry. And next time we're going to have, again, daddy issues. So that's going to be very interesting, and I'll see you back then. Until then, the usual stuff. If you're watching it on YouTube, there's a like button. If you've gotten 2 hours into this, I think I deserve a like. I remember I have cards before watching the anime. I don't remember why I got the cards. It's been 20 plus years. That is a very fair point.